This is incredible. Minneapolis a few days ago pushed back on what were raids by the FBI, ICE, and the ATF, many more agencies in a majority-minority area of Minneapolis, and protesters showed up. This has been underreported. I want to talk about it because this is what it looks like when everyday people push back on some of the worst parts of this regime. And one thing that we haven't talked a lot about on this channel is that ICE agents are actually masked. They're masked. They're not showing their faces. And the acting ICE director has admitted it's because they don't want to face accountability. They don't want, when they get pushed back by protesters, to have to face the consequences within their own communities. Watch a little bit of this.
A lot of agencies were invited to come out 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles where we ran an operation where ICE officers were doxxed. So let's just say that again. People are out there taking photos of the names, their faces, and posting them online with death threats to their family and themselves. So I'm sorry if people are offended by them wearing masks, but I'm not going to let my officers and agents go out there and put their lives on the line and their family on the line because people don't like what immigration enforcement is. A lot of agencies were invited to.
Obviously, no one should be giving these ICE employees death threats. That is not okay. I don't know how much that is happening. Like, how much is that actually happening? I'm not sure. Like, is it like 2 or 3 cases? I don't know. But if you are going to be working for the government, if you're going to be doing the work of the government, if you're going to be arresting people, if you're going to be arresting people without due process, then I think if you don't like that you're going to be caught doing that by the public, then maybe you should stop working for ICE. I don't think the solution is covering up your face, because that makes this then a shadow government agency that doesn't face accountability. Hakeem Jeffries actually has said now, because this isn't a law, there's no law saying that ICE agents or any other federal government officer should have to not cover their face. And I think we should change that. Here's what Hakeem Jeffries said.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is America. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified. That in fact is the law. And we're going to make sure that the American people have the transparency necessary to hold people accountable when they're folks who cross the line.
Absolutely. We need to hold folks accountable. And I'm glad Hakeem Jeffries is being so forceful about this. This isn't about keeping ICE agents safe. I mean, if you're doing nothing wrong, then nothing wrong will happen to you. This is about making sure that they have to be accountable for their actions. And when you do things anonymously, I mean, think about the comment section, my comment section, my God. The reason why people can be so mean and say cruel things is because they hide behind anonymity. Anonymity is very much so a shield. And so we have to make sure that people who are enacting the laws or breaking the laws are being held accountable for the things that they do. Mike Johnson, of course, does not agree. Here's what he had to say.
From the people who mandated mask wearing for years in America, it's absurd. They need to back off of ICE and respect our agents and stop protesting against them.
You're okay with these agents sort of not identifying themselves when they're arresting migrants?
Why? So that they can target them? So they can put their names and faces online and dox them? That's what these activists do.
Again, who's doing that? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. And the only way we are going to know these people's names and want to share their face is if they do something wrong. If they do something wrong. I'm just thinking about George Floyd and Derek Chauvin. Imagine if he didn't show his face. I mean, we would still probably find out who he was, but it would have taken a lot longer. And this is the thing. We just need to make sure that people are accountable for their actions. Now, Minneapolis is holding folks accountable. And here's one of the reasons why it's important that we see people's faces, because look at what this pastor said to the MPD chief for breaking his promise not to work with ICE. Look at what she said to him.
It's not what you promised. You don't answer to me. If you don't like the work, you are so hard. You don't answer to me. You are not. Stop it.
It's amazing. I mean, you can tell he does not want to be there. He doesn't want to deal. I mean, this is just an incredible piece of content, because you have a pastor here talking to someone who goes to her church, trying to plead for the people who can't plead for themselves. And this chief of police, I hope, is rethinking his actions. I hope ICE and the ATF are rethinking their actions too, because first off, why you got to be dressed like you're going to war if you're just arresting migrants? But protesters fought back and they won. .30 officers from the ATF, FBI, and ICE were in Minneapolis. Police were on the scene. And I'm just going to say this. We're not entirely sure why they were there. The Minneapolis police and ICE says it was for a drug raid. And then others have been saying that it was to enact deportations. It's unclear. The city council, though, voted unanimously in favor of launching an independent operation conducted to kind of determine what law enforcement was doing there. It won by a 12-0 vote. So we will know why military police, heavily armed agents from ICE and the FBI were there. We don't know yet, because ICE earlier this week was shown to be arresting and zip tying a child. And then they lied about it. They said it was an 18-year-old illegal alien. That's what they said. But if you see very clearly here, this is clearly a child who is being arrested. And here's a bit of that video. So this is the young boy who got arrested. Look at that. They're zip tying him. Zip tying him. He doesn't look older than 16, and they're zip tying him. Now, they said he was 18, but that has been disputed. So I don't trust ICE when it comes to this sort of stuff. I will wait and see what they have to say. And I'm just going to end with this. CNN's Scott Jennings tried to catch Kat Abagazala in a bit of a bind when he was like, well, you want everyone to have health care, even illegal aliens, And she was like, yeah, I think everyone should have health care across the world. And it's kind of a brilliant way to handle this sort of thing. And I want to end with this, because the right has really been weaponizing migrants for a long time, and it was never more apparent than last night on CNN when Scott Jennings tried to catch this Democrat who is running for Congress, Kat Abagazala, who has been on the channel, in a bind by asking her if she believes that migrants should get health care. And her answer, I think, should be the blueprint about how we talk about a lot of these things, because the way we treat the people who have the least should be how we treat everyone. And if we're not going to treat them well, then maybe we need to construct a society that does. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please hit like in the video. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
And what he says still very much goes inside of the Republican Party tent. I believe that will include primaries next year.
Does it include the people who lose their access to Medicaid, or the ones that lose their SNAP
illegal
benefits?
Aliens? They don't vote anyway, so I don't guess it'll matter to.
Are you saying that only undocumented
I'm saying
people
we're going to
Medicaid?
make sure that no undocumented
11
person
million people are going to lose their health care.
We're going to make sure that illegal aliens and folks who won't get off grandma's couch and try to work are not going to scam the system, and we're going to preserve it for the people who need it.
Yeah, the
That's
able-bodied
what we're
work
doing.
provisions, I think that's something.
Define it.
What if you get sick and then you get work?
Define it.